Yeah, I don't mind admitting that I haven't been sleeping well, and sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat, and my wife says I toss and turn at night. She says sometimes I cry out in my sleep, but can you blame me? I mean, I know that when I wake up, it's going to be another day where I feel as if I've descended into Dante's Inferno. There's been a bit of noise in the mainstream media this week about Mr. Abbott's reluctance to do press conferences or in fact face the media at all. I don't find that surprising, considering during the election campaign Mr. Abbott was advocating for clear and transparent government. Well, we've certainly got that now, haven't we? Not only are they clear and transparent, they're bloody invisible. But if we go on Mr. Abbott's past performance, I mean, who can forget Grand Final Breakfast, when Mr. Abbott was fronted by the media and asked questions about a recent asylum seeker tragedy at sea? Boom! Off he went like a startled bloody gazelle. I mean, the fellow won his last interview by 20 metres and took 2 seconds off his best time. Christopher Pyne. He reminds me of one of those little dogs that's always yapping, always barking, always snapping at your heels. Morning, noon and night. Yap, yap, yap. And they keep yapping until the day they're neutered. Then the spark goes out of their life and they just wander listlessly around. Anyway, Christopher Pyne has been in the news recently, and not just for not knowing who Lou Reed was, but for suggesting the Australian history component of our high school curriculum needs to be reviewed. And reviewed because it tends to cast Labor Prime Ministers in a more positive light than their right-wing counterparts. It tends to focus on the union struggle in Australian history as opposed to small, medium and large business. Okay, so it's going to be reviewed. So in essence, it's going to be Pyno-cleaned. Don't worry, Mrs. Jones. We'll have that grubby left-wing component of that high school curriculum removed in a jiffy and replaced with some good old right-wing conservative values. Instead of your child learning about the Eureka Stockade, they'll be able to marvel at the wonders of the Myer Boxing Day sale of 1971. Gerry Harvey has been in the news over the last day or so. And Gerry's a bit upset that Australians aren't sort of rushing into his stores to buy televisions and fridges and washing machines. I'm sorry, Gerry. I'm sorry about that. I don't know how many votes you had at the last election. I'm pretty sure it was just one. But at the moment we've got a few other things to worry about. We've got bigger fish to fry. I mean, we've got an invisible government. We've got trade deals being done behind closed doors. We've got freedom of information requests being denied. Seriously, Gerry, we'll get back to you later, but in the meantime, show some bloody humility. Evidence that the Abbott government is going to start cutting like Sweeney Todd surfaced over the last couple of days, with over 500,000 homes being cut from Labor's NBN rollout plan. Now, this is remarkable, considering that this is actually in areas where construction has already commenced, so that you could get the ridiculous situation that on one side of the road you'll have 21st century optical fibre to the home, where on the other side of the road you'll have optical fibre to the node, and then early 20th century copper to the home. I mean, okay, my question in all this is, how did you go, Malcolm? Which side of the road are you on? You know, did you ring Ziggy and say, look, Ziggy, we're at number 13, so we're good for optical fibre. Don't worry about next door. I don't think much of them. The Robinsons, they're okay. Yeah, include them. Or did you actually put your hand up and say, look, I invented the internet in Australia. I know what's good enough, and I'm quite happy to put my hand on my heart and say it's good old copper for me. For Independent Australia, that's all from Wound Up. Until next time, maintain the rage.